pleasure and honor to invite Sabyasachi, who is a wildlife photographer. He has many an award-winning films to his name, and that was just the second half of his career. The first half of his career was a regular corporate professional, BE, then an MBA, and then joining corporates. I think your last stint was with Nokia.
MATE. After Nokia, I worked in MATE, Manufacturers Association for IT, Information Technology. As Executive Director, that's the industry association for promoting manufacturing of IT electronic items in India.
Fantastic.
So I had joined as association.
Executive
then decided that, that's the last point when I finally decided that it's time to take a plunge.
Okay, good in a way. Otherwise, the people would have missed the kind of films that you have created. I remember one, The Rain.
Call in the Rainforest.
Call in the Rainforest. Yeah, so listeners, let us welcome Sabyasachi. And Sabyasachi, now I would like to hear from you. I mean, we are meeting, say, around, at least on a call, I think we are meeting maybe at least 10, 15 years. I think once we met when you were in CII.
Yeah. So
okay, it's a long way back to '92 when we shared the same batch. I and Sabyasachi both are from NIT Roorkela. Can you just fill me up on your career track, initial career track?
Okay, like you, Prakash, both of us passed out in 1992. Metallurgy, RC Roorkela. Now it has become NIT Roorkela. And then after graduating from NIT Roorkela, I got into Tata Motors campus placement. At that time, it was Telco. Tata Engineering used to call it, but still the name was Telco. Then later on, it changed to Tata Motors. I joined in 92 in Jamshedpur.
Okay.
So it was at that time, it was one of the dream jobs in our campus. After 6 years, they told me that after 6 years, they had taken somebody from metallurgy from our institute. So I said, okay, wow, that's cool. So there were two other metallurgists in our batch. So that's cool. And worked in heat treatment shop in Tata Motors. And those are all PLC control furnaces and all kinds of stuff and all that. So from 3 years, I worked 1992 to 1995. And then at the time, I decided that now working with people, getting them to do stuff like, you are basically managing things. Engineering, yes, there are some engineering challenges because new furnaces, engineering challenges with that. I was trying to figure it out. So my company sent me to even on a short-term course for IT Kharagpur and all that stuff, but just to get into the engineering things and all that. But I realized that, look, you need to manage people. And my senior manager told me that, look, Sabyasachi, your parents would be telling you that acha bacha bano means be a good child. But in workplace, if you tell these workers who have never studied, they're virtually illiterate those days. Or like basically anguta chap, sticking the fingers and not even signing. So those guys have to see somebody who is a strong man, kind of shouting and abusing, and that was the culture in that sense. But otherwise, they're very, very nice human culture. But then you have to show your aggressiveness in that sense. So I said, boss, this is completely different ball game. Okay. And then I realized that I basically need to understand something about management. I don't know. Okay. So and at the time, MBA was a hot kind of thing.
Correct.
So I decided that let me appear for MBA entrance exams and all that. Fortunately or unfortunately, just before the entrance exam, a rod fell on my finger and I broke it. So I wrote those. Those days we used to do pencil round ABCs. You have to do round things and all that. Funny thing. So I used to put my hand like this on the paper and then do this pencil like this. That's how I did and qualified for exam.
Okay.
So I was not my cup of tea. Okay. So anyway, it's then exam Bhubaneswar. I passed out 95 to 97. 97 I passed out.
Okay.
Then worked in PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers.
Correct, correct, correct.
PwC, and then after PwC, then left and worked in a smaller consulting firm. So and then I kept on moving different firms and all that, and then finally went to a UK-based consulting firm, and life was like out of track in the sense waking up at 4:30 in the morning. I mean, taking a flight in that 5 or 5:30 whatever in the morning, and then traveling, staying only in five-star hotels and all traveling. I just got crazy. I said, boss, this is not my cup of tea. Every 2 weeks, I was kind of popping up those nice pills and all that. I was like, boss, this is not happening. I can't work like this. And there was a time when I met with CI Director General Tarun Das and all that.
This was which
they
year?
were also
Yeah,
recruiting. That was CI was I joined 2002. Yeah.
2002.
2002
Okay.
I joined. Yeah, 2002, and so I worked in CI for 3 years, handling the telecom and broadband desk and all that. And then after that, I shifted over to Nokia. Nokia was entering India and setting up its factory. Earlier, sales function was there in India,
Mm-hmm.
but it wanted to set up a manufacturing facility in Chennai in India. So I joined there, handling the government relations. Stayed there for a long time, 6.5 years. That's the longest stint for me. Shifted over to MATE, MIT, Manufacturers Association for Information Technology.
Correct,
I joined
correct.
as executive director. That's the industry association. And during that time, barely a year, and then at that time I had already made up my mind that no, I will shift over. I'll follow my passion.
Okay.
So there was a bit of personal experience in the sense. Few years ago, my dad had passed away. So I was grappling with things like, what am I doing with my life? Like, is it, for example, I was thinking if when my time comes, if my entire life goes away as a flashback in front of my eyes, and will I regret of not kind of, doing something, or not having tried to at least achieve my dreams? Whether we achieve or not, that's God's grace. But
Correct.
at least to
Try fully.
try. Okay. So that you don't have regrets. Okay, I tried in that sense. So then I was grappling with this kind of thoughts. So what am I doing? And then finally, I joined Mate. I was trying very hard, and then I realized, no, this is the time to take a plunge. Let me explore my potential. If like a null hypothesis that if you have potential, passion is really strong enough, then you will succeed. Okay, and the second thing is if you are really talented, you will succeed. So I'm kind of exploring whether I'm really passionate enough, I'm really talented enough. I'm trying to prove myself wrong.
But just wanted to understand, I mean, how did this decision, how did you, I mean, it would not have been a spontaneous decision, definitely, but how long were you working on it, this decision?
It's like from late 2005 onwards, I was like thinking all the time. There are different aspects to a decision. For example, one aspect is also wildlife. People think it's all glamour. You see National Geographic, it's all glamour. Okay. People don't never see the hard part of it in anything. So you feel glamour. Second part is, I mean, whether you are really passionate enough to, carry 70, 80, 100 kgs of stuff, carrying it and flights and traveling and trekking and all kinds of things. Are you passionate enough? Can you do it day in and day out? There are a lot of different aspects. Anyway, so I was thinking for a long time, and most of us are middle class. Like I don't know.
Correct.
Your reader viewership base probably. I don't know what is your viewership base, but at least I come from a middle class background, and we grapple with number one thing is finances.
Finances, absolutely. Yeah.
And so, I was a guy who was always into splurging. Whatever I was to get, I was to splurge and all that. So then I decided that if I need to take a plunge, I also need to really save money for some time. Okay, that's number one. You need to save money.
Correct.
And so number one steps I took is to kill all the EMIs systematically and all this. So no EMIs like people have car loan, house loan, this and that, and it's nothing, absolutely zero. So that means if tomorrow you are leaving a job, so you are not paying out something beyond the regular electricity bills and all. Okay.
Exactly.
Those are the things. That's number one. Second thing, I was into consulting. Since I was into consulting, I've done a lot of strategy consulting, cost reduction consulting, and all that, competitive strategy, and all kinds of things. So, and one of the strategic models among the various strategies is known as emergent strategy. Emergent
Okay.
strategy means is a company when it does something systematically over a period of time, okay, consistently. So
Hmm.
there is like a common thread. So that means when you look back and see that there is a common thread between all your actions, so that is a strong point. So that strong point differentiates you from the rest of your competitors. So that becomes a strength, that becomes a strategy, whatever. Um, Whether it take any aspect of it. Okay.
Hmm.
So if it's so passionately, constantly focusing on that single aspect, whether it is quality or whatever it is, to great extents, then you
Okay.
know that over a period of time that has become your strength, way above everybody else. So that can differentiate you between the me too kind of, your peers or whatever. So you
Okay.
are
Emergent.
emergent.
Emergent strategy.
Emergent means it is emerging out of it. Means it is emerging out of your actions. So
Okay.
that's why it's
Okay.
called as
Emergent.
emergent strategy. Okay. So I thought if all this funda I have been giving to clients, whether anything I am personally
Applying.
implementing or not, then I thought, look, if I am into filming and all this things, the equipment is so costly. Of course,
Correct.
cameras, the life
Absolutely.
of cameras
Yeah.
is less. I mean, every 3 years or whatever you are changing cameras, but other support equipment is very costly. So
Mm.
what I did is I said, look, at one go, if I have to invest, me being from a middle class person, looking at so much of money at one go,
Mm.
I'll die. So I have a heart attack. So
Okay.
I thought, okay, let me do one thing. What is that? So I said, cool. I started buying one thing at a time, plotting. For example, I asked my friend to go and get a. So, for example, a simple when I get a tripod
Mm.
and from tripod head, fluid head from O'Connor. There's a company called O'Connor, and that's basically people use in the Hollywood. I mean, and then big productions and all that.
Okay.
So, for example, the lower end of that fluid head
Uh,
and the tripod. The tripod is just like $3,000 something dollars, and the fluid head is like $6,900, something like that.
okay.
So
Roughly
it's like
$10,000.
$10,000, and those days the exchange rate was not like this.
Uh,
So still, I paid some close to 7 lakhs or whatever, 6.6 something,
okay.
whatever.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so I kept on getting things like one by one, and all that, and then so then slowly you build up, and then you realize that you have close to a kind of 80-90 lakh or a crore of worth of equipment before while you are just jumping in.
Mm.
So that gives a big kind of strength to you, rather
Okay.
than immediate like as a startup when you start
Uh,
and start thinking that okay, today I need to invest X Y Z and all that. So
correct.
it becomes a big pain. So you go into a big kind of a debt. You take loans and all these things
True. True.
from
True.
banks and all that. So I never wanted that kind of model.
Uh,
Even people thought that you start big and you take all kinds of funding and VCs and all kinds of things. I said, sorry, no, I don't want to get into that. I
okay.
want to start in that as if just as kind of as if a one person passionate starting and slowly building up team and all that. So
Okay.
I moved in like that, and slowly it's a journey, moving in with a fair share of ups and downs and all that, with tons of learning along the way. So and if the listeners are thinking that it's all easy, right? Sorry, it is not, because when we as I mean, when you are a senior executive in a corporate,
Mm.
there is a chain of people under you. There are people, colleagues around you, so that you can discuss things. Number one, because
Correct.
decision making is just like bounce of ideas with a lot of people.
Correct.
And number two, if you fail, then there are
Mm.
other people who are there to back up.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So here, I mean, you can take take a week off, 2 weeks off, or whatever XYZ and all that. Here you
Mm.
can't.
Mm.
You have to balance your pleasures, your pains, your troubles, and everything at one go. Your personal issues, everything
Abs-
like tending to your friends and relatives, and somebody sick and all kinds of things. Everything you have to take care of yourself. Travels, planning, bookings, budgeting, and at in those days, like your assistant used to book. I mean, hotels and stays
correct.
and this and that.
Correct.
You have to
Correct.
learn
Correct.
yourself all kinds of
Absolutely.
things. The clerical thing I used to always hate, of
Yeah.
doing a Xerox and then faxes and scans and all PDFs of that nonsense. So I just used to struggle with that. And now, despite being an engineer, but that's what you ought to. Get a hang of it. You have to start doing it, and that's it. Also get your connections, get from your work done while doing. And there is a thing I realized, uh, especially for a person like me, when you're a passionate guy,
when you're
focus on your work. When you are a passionate guy,
correct.
you want to do the best of your ability. You want to do it to the finest job that you have ever done. And that may lead to, in these kind of fields, clients don't understand the difference between the quality between 95% and 99%.
Absolutely,
Most of the clients cannot understand. And whereas if I have to raise the quality of my film from say 95% to 99%, then the amount of sweating that I need to do goes way up. The amount of spending investments that I need to do, or kind of expenditure of resources that I do, goes way up in terms of time and money and everything, in terms of graphics and in terms of production, and everything goes up. So you have to balance. You have to look at the business aspect. A lot of people forget the business aspect. They just focus on the production side. So that, these are some of the learnings as well. A lot of learnings, but some things you figure out when you start.
Initially, you went into wildlife photography, right?
Wildlife is my passion. So I am consistently doing side by side wildlife. And I'm also shooting freelance for any channels, anybody coming from abroad and asking me to shoot production houses, foreign corporates, MNCs, then foreign broadcasters, whoever wants it in India, and I've been shooting for.
How did you build a kind of a customer base? How did you plan out the revenue?
Frankly speaking, when I started, I created an Excel sheet. And I decided that even if I get zero revenue for the next 2 years, first 2 years, then also I should be okay. Because then the exigencies happen. For example, like I had signed a contract. There are a lot of different things that happen, and things fall off. So you have to take it in your chin and have to move ahead. But what I realized is, again, going back to the whatever consulting we used to do and focusing on, from where to get your client and this and that and all that. One big thing that I thought is I have to understand my personality, because it depends upon the execution. What you can come out with all kinds of strategies, and my strategy may be good for someone else, but may not be good for myself. For example, because it is the person who is executing it. For example, I am a guy who is generally, I'm an introvert guy. So I would prefer to be in the wild. I would prefer to sit hours together and meditate. I can sit silently and keep on thinking about, about where I went wrong or what I need to do or whatever it is. I can contemplate. So I'm that kind of guy. So, and it's not a very outward kind of personality where you regularly meet and greet people all the time, socializing. No, I need my time. I need time to recharge. So I need to be quiet. So that's a different type of personality. You need to understand your personality type than other people. So what I did is I realized that one, I will definitely get answers from different people. That's number one. But what I've realized is I don't want to be a shooting star. For example, if you advertise a lot somewhere, and some client may give you a job and all that. Right. If you are not good enough in that one job, then you lost it forever. Okay. So what I focused on is to, number one, get my execution capabilities absolutely right. Okay. So that if I get one chance, I will show it that yes, I'll do it well. And second thing is, I treated this as filming, because filming is not just about wildlife. Filming is one branch of it. Okay. But the basic thing is filming. Filming is storytelling. Okay. And so whether I am shooting for wildlife or I'm shooting for corporates or whatever, ultimately it is a film. So that's what I'm saying. So people ought to see from your work and say that, yeah, he's good. So, but then what I did is I was consistently shooting and recording and kind of, sharing some video clips here and there in my site and on YouTube and all that. Need not be a full length documentaries and all that, but small snippets, something and all that. So, and that's how people came to my website and looked at it. For example, I when I first got a call from HBO, and then like it was in the middle of the night at 1. So I just come back from Assam and I was sleeping. Suddenly I hear a voice. I was deep asleep. I didn't even know who they are. So I just called up and said, they said, they are from HBO. I said, okay, fine, you tell me. So they said, yeah, this for women's athletics. So because I was sleeping, and I asked them, why do you need me? So, so they were answering, look, we have seen your wildlife stuff, okay, your wildlife films. And in wildlife, there are no retakes. You can seize the moment. So when some suddenly animal is sleeping and suddenly gets up and starts doing something, so we see that you can seize the moment. So, and in athletes, it is like that. Once the starter pistol is fired, then no retakes.
Correct.
So then I started thinking, wow, seize the moment. I have been, I said, that's a big punchline. I have been,
absolutely.
I have been a consultant. I have done all this consulting myself, but then I never thought that that's my strength. I mean,
it is the other people who are interacting with you who will be able to give you insight on what are your strengths.
The reason is, we know some part of ourselves, but there is a big blind self. I mean, or which is not known to anybody, and partly it is not known to us, but it is known to people. So the perception of people about us is matters. The perception of people about us really matters. So the way they see you, and because ultimately the perception drives decisions. So all the marketing effort is directed towards creating a positive perception about ourselves and our products. So it is very important to listen to. That's why it is very important to listen to customers and what they think about you.
Absolutely.
So
this was tell me about this athletic. What happened? What happened with this HBO?
So then it was on women's athletics. So I shot something. So they wanted, and then they further asked me to shoot a portion of the documentary on Duti Chand, India's Olympian. So that way. So I'm just narrating one incident because it's like small things, but then you get to. That's how a lot of different things can come and land up on your lap. Somebody wanting a shoot here in India and sees that, yes, this is the guy who is consistently, passionately doing things. And then they said, can you do this, also do this for us? Yeah, why not? Okay. So then you move in. And for me, shooting corporates was easy because being in corporate, you understand it. How to handle it. It's not just a novice cameraman or something like that. You understand how to speak, where to give a pause, how to project, how to showcase a person in a positive light, where to cut and all that. So it becomes easy to talk with the senior executive. So that then I realized that's one of my strengths.
Core. That's your core, exactly.
And it's easy to talk with the senior guys because you are not overawed by these people.
Right.
Being in the same situation yourself earlier. So that is okay. So things happen. So slowly things kept on moving. The thing is, there is no single recipe for success. You have to discover your own recipe. I don't think there is a single textbook case that you do this and it will present, because we are not robots. We are individuals, humans.
Correct. What works for you might not work for someone else.
Yes.
Tell me something which really stands out. Any of your either filming experience? Okay.
Yeah.
So any episode that you want to share?
Yeah. See, well, I haven't reached the pinnacle of success the way I envisaged. So I mean,
we're all travelers.
Then my what I'm saying is we are all travelers. So we learn certain things and we share. So need not be true for everybody. So we see this is the path. And there are a lot of emotions we get. For example, you suddenly see somebody way, in your estimate, lower in terms of talent and equipment and other things, can suddenly grabs a better project and all that. And
Correct.
someone else may say the same thing for me as well. But then, yeah, that creates a different emotion. So how do
Right.
you deal with it? Is it that can lead you to a very negative spiral and all that? That's one.
Correct.
And
Correct.
number two, one of the major things that I faced was a really disaster. Is disaster in the sense, suddenly because I keep on traveling and shooting,
Uh-huh.
my there was a power surge and my raid system and my hard disk together. I was plugged in and I was backing up and everything. So all the thing got fired up,
Oh.
just got fried.
Uh-huh.
So I lost some amazing footage. For example, I was sitting in a
Right.
tent and 1.5 feet away, a leopard has come and sat, and those kind of moments,
Oh.
which can never be recreated. Or, for example, I was interviewing a lady, and then the person got emotional and is crying and all that.
Uh-huh.
Now, after losing it, I can't go back to the person
Recreate that. Yeah.
recreate that moment. And see, these are like it was a big moment for me. So I mean, then I mean, it really pushed me down and kind of, on the verge of depression or whatever you call it. Like that, it was very tough phase, and finally I could pull back my life from that. That's number one.
Okay.
Number two is these kind of moments also give you a inkling of what you lack. For example, while speaking to a lady when she's crying, I had no words. What do I do? How do I handle this kind of emotional moments? How do I talk with this person? How do I console people? You see, certain things, I mean, for friends, you can
Uh,
hug a friend and all that.
correct.
For somebody whom you have barely known, a person who has lost her child or something like that, and you are in camera, the person is breaking down. What do we do? See, these are human emotions. You are doing with people. It's not just some stuff which you are assembling together as like parts to make a
Correct.
bicycle or whatever it is. These are real people, and with a lot of fragility. So how
Mm-hmm.
do you handle this kind of things? How to handle these emotions? How to handle people? And in the long run, it is about the way we handle people, known or unknown, or colleagues, or all that. That decides our level of success and uh, mm, reputation in the society.
Correct.
And the
Correct.
way it gives a lot of pleasure as well as pain, in terms of that you could change something somewhere for the positive things. So this, there are a lot of different moments. So a lot of different learning. So I uh, mm, kept on learning. I learned hypnotherapy. I read a lot about psychology, uh,
Oh.
meditation. It's a journey. So what I'm saying is, it's not just that I'm into wildlife or something like that. As you said, we are all travelers. So, and along the road, we pick up things, we try to learn things which you think is kind of helpful in different situations. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
it changes us. All
Yeah.
these kind of experiences, no, changes
Yeah.
us kind of
Very
thing.
true. Absolutely. The people we were in 92 in college is, I don't know, except for the externals, there is nothing much similar from what we were then and what we are now. At least I
Yeah,
can speak for myself.
it is a different world altogether. So
True.
in the college and all that, I know, the way we were in engineering, all that I I do right now of engineering is, at least perhaps it has shaped my understanding, shaped my
Uh,
thinking process.
right.
Thinking process, I'm familiar with certain stuff, but then, yeah, that's how it is. We have
True.
not been engineers anymore.
Absolutely. We are no way. I mean, if we continue to behave the same way, then I think we will be limiting ourselves. We cannot be.
Yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
cannot be.
Say, because at that time when we passed out, we are like barely 22,
Correct.
and so we are not. I mean, we had a lot to learn, to experience life and understand.
Yes.
So limiting yourself is just because you're an engineer or something. to some, it may not be the right way. Some
Right
people
way
may
to live
argue
life.
for or
Yeah.
against
Yeah.
this thing, but then it all depends about the potential that you have. Whether you have realized your potential, that's what is the difference. I mean, um, the maximum thing that I would like to say is I don't want to. I am not competing with anyone now. I am,
Um,
frankly speaking, I am exploring my potential.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If I can realize whatever is there within me, I'm happy.
What is your
I
year like?
no, my year is, it's like pretty unstructured in the sense I'm still exploring myself. I have not stuck to a particular genre.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
for example, initially I thought, yeah, I'm having a cinema camera and all that. Why not get into the feature films and all? But
Okay.
then, you need to also have a reputation so that people take you. Otherwise, they thought I'm one of those guys from Three Idiots. So perhaps this guy has got a lot of money to blow, so he has bought cinema cameras. That's what people thought. So I said, the kind of films that I got, I mean, one Punjabi feature film and like then one horror film where I went and all that. And I realized that my thinking is just not matching with that of the director. For example, in certain situations I was talking about how the shadows move in one film in called Red Beard by Akira Kurosawa, the famous Japanese
Okay.
master director.
Correct.
So
Correct.
is to say that this shadows move like this and this and that and all that, and then a lot of these films you need to do that, and don't do a I mean, don't show something obvious. Show it through your imagery and all that. And the guy is clueless. He says, "What is this guy talking about?" So he was into, I mean, other end like slapstick, and I'm in the other end. I said, "Boss, this is not going to fly." And people who see it, they will tell me that, "Hey, Sabyasachi, you have left your job to do this kind of nonsense." I say, "Sorry, no."
So did you
That's
go
why I
ahead?
decided.
Did you go ahead and
No,
finish it or no?
I went, I was shooting. Suddenly, he changed the script and created all kinds of nuisance. So I said, "Sorry, I am leaving it. I didn't even take any money, huge losses." But I said, "Look, nobody should blame me that this guy took money and all that." I said, "I just left everything and
Oh,
came back." I said, "Sorry, forget it. Doesn't matter. It's a learning experience for me. It's a big learning experience."
correct.
But then,
Correct.
so that's why I said, "Look, at this point of time, I am staying away from feature films and all that. Let me stick to things which I can produce, documentaries, short films, and also a lot of activism things that I'm doing, a lot of stuff."
What?
So I do things on wildlife and environment stuff and all that. So I create things which are because every month I produce a newsletter on environment and wildlife.
Okay.
So I write.
Okay.
So I write.
Okay.
It's been last 12 years I've been doing it.
Uh-huh.
Nothing goes waste in your life. Whatever you have learned, no. For example, I was about to take biology. Okay. So
Okay.
biology means I was about to go for medicals, but I could not. No. So because engineering I got makes me even better in understanding behavior of wildlife and all that in forest, nature, environment, issues related to forest, nature, environment. So I enjoy that. So
Okay.
and that's what I've been producing also.
So you don't rest. I mean, do you have any geographic limitation or anywhere there
No,
is something?
India is my limitation. I don't want to travel abroad,
Okay.
and the reason is I have realized if I go to say Africa or somewhere else,
Uh,
the guy who is staying in a place for day in day out, he or she will be much better than me in terms of knowledge. So I decided that no, let me kind of stick to India.
how long does it take for you to do a film?
It depends. Like even uh, there are a couple of things. One, if I it's like even because a documentary is different, a wildlife documentary is
Correct.
different, and all this takes different time.
Uh,
Wildlife documentaries can take years and all that. And
when you
yeah,
have some
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
end result in mind for wildlife.
yeah, yeah. Huh. In the sense,
Uh,
for example, you have a like a bigger kind of a goal that okay, this place I will travel. for
Mm.
XYZ species or whatever, or trying to show a particular place.
Mm.
I want to show in this kind of things. So you have a broad idea, but
Okay.
so broad idea with a broad script in mind. But then you can keep on based on the shots that you get. So you can
Okay.
keep on changing and then kind of fine tune the narration. For example, I did a documentary for Maharashtra government, so I Mango Cell. So it was for the Thanecreek. So I titled it Jewels of Thanecreek, that name. And I kept on visiting different seasons and seeing the habitat change, the species change. So overall, I knew what to do. But then creating that fine-tuned storyline with the voiceover, with the changes of in images and all that, that comes the play of the exact shots that you'll get is different. For example, there are crabs staying there. Okay, there are
Mm.
flamingos there. Okay,
Okay.
like small things are crabs, or big things are flamingos. In that sense, in that
Uh-huh.
case, and other birds. And how? So that's what you know. These are the species, or plus other species, snakes and other things that you will capture. But then kind of interactions between different species that you get, you may not be able to visualize. For example, I started researching and trying to read different journals. Then I
Okay.
found out that there was one interesting incident. I mean that the nutrient recycling that happens, that mangrove leaves fall to the ground, and the crabs take it and they dig holes in the ground and they
Uh-huh.
line up these leaves in the holes. Okay, so that way it is recycled. Nutrient is recycling. The
Oh.
tree through the roots takes the nutrient from the ground,
Okay.
and it grows, comes out with leaves and all that. Leaves fall down, and
And
then
then
this
they go
small
back.
species like a crab takes it. Okay,
Yeah.
that way is very important. So how do you capture it? Then I was looking for crabs, and then I found out that exact moment the crab is taking it into the burrow and all that. So those kind of things you cannot predict. You read, it is there in the back of your mind, but whether you will get those kind of
Get
shots or
those
not,
shots.
you don't know.
Close in your interactions with the wild?
Oh, I see. Number one, before I talk about close, I should always say that I don't fear wildlife because their ways are predictable. They follow a rule. I mean rules. Man is the most unruly animal in this world. So I fear man. When I'm carrying like 70, 80 lakh rupees worth of equipment, I know
Abs-
I can get mugged. So I
Correct,
fear
correct.
man.
Uh,
That's number one. But I have tumbled from a hill. I have had closes. I've been charged at by a elephant, charged
oh,
at by tiger. Both things because of my fault. I like tigress was on one side of the road, and the
uh,
other side was its cubs. I didn't knew. I just went in. It charged at me, and
oh.
while then I was another
You are in
incident.
a jeep
It
or
charged at
something?
me. I was in the jeep. It charged at
Okay.
me and then went back. Just it is a mock charge,
Oh,
not a
okay,
full
okay.
blown real charge. Okay,
Oh,
it's
okay,
not a full
okay.
blown real charge. But then
How was the feeling?
suddenly you realize.
How did you feel when that actual charge happened?
I was standing in the open jeep, and then when she came hardly 4 feet away, growled. The spit came and fell on my trousers. It was like wet. I looked at myself. I said, "Oh my God,
Oh,
this
God.
is something." And
Okay.
second thing, I was driving. Two of us were driving. I was driving myself. Two of us were there in the jeep.
Mm.
I was winding road. That was in this is in BR Hills, Billigiri Rangan Hills. So from very early in the morning, I was driving, probably 5 or something like that. It was very early in the morning. It
Uh,
was really dark. Suddenly, an elephant was climbing downhill, and it
uh,
saw me, and it just charged. And there was a lot of fog. I couldn't even see. I said, "Oh my God!" I mean, I couldn't even back properly.
uh,
Slowly had to back, and I mean, I knew it's a mock charge, but you shouldn't do any kind of stupidity that it forces through with the charge and kind of creates a problem. So it happens, things happen, but it's okay. Fortunately, things are okay.
Nothing too bad. And what about that hill tumble?
Hill tumble, actually, it is. I was not well. I was not well the previous night. I had not slept properly. Was getting a lot of cough and cold and all that. I had a little bit of fever, but once you have gone, I was ready. I just needed the shots and all that. Early in the morning, I was shooting from the side of the hill, and I climbed up and I was
Uh,
shooting. And then I packed the camera and told my assistant that take it. He was a guy 50 kgs, I mean, very very thin, lean and thin guy. He just took
Oh.
my so I first I gave the tripod down. Then he took the when he took the camera, he says he didn't stretch his hand properly. So I had to stretch my hand a lot. Somehow, probably I pulled a muscle or something like that. I don't know. I felt a tinge of pain in my left shoulder, and then I gave it to him. And then I sat on the rock and to get down. And then next moment, on the other side of the rock, I'm tumbling.
Okay.
I was, I had, I mean, blanked out. And when I opened my eyes, I realized that I was tumbling down and going downhill. The other side, one side is the road, so that was okay. The other side was a deep valley. I
Oh.
was tumbling down. That is in Assam. I was tumbling down, and this guy, on one hand, he's holding my camera, and in the other hand, he's trying to push me, and he's getting pushed down downwards with me. And my head was downward. I mean, my leg was up, and head was down, pointed down, and I was fortunately it caught hold of my leg and turned it down. So the leg hit the ground. Somehow I jolted back to consciousness, and I could stop. So
Okay.
it was it would have been just ended in a disaster. That's it. But that also gives you a perspective that I mean, okay, so when your time is not up, so nothing will happen. But better be careful. That's okay. But don't be so paranoid. Better be careful. That's it.
About your awards, tell me
Yeah,
something about your.
so see, actually, when I was in that was in 2012, yes, but that was the time when I did this film Call in the Rainforest. So it was shown in various film festivals abroad, and then got an award from Maharashtra Chief Minister. That was in
Okay.
2012.
Uh-huh.
So then I thought, come on, I mean, this is I've already got some award, and already a lot of film festivals abroad they've shown it and all that. So I think I can make it. So that gave me a lot of confidence.
Okay.
So that was actually one of the triggers. I thought, come on, I think I can make it. So at least that's why I decided in few months' time, 2012, I
Mm-hmm.
decided that's it. So from full time from end of 2012, right now I'm on my own. So
Before
I've
that,
left the
before
corporate world.
2012, what you are still
I
with?
was shooting. I was
Uh,
shooting, but I was taking a month off and shoot and come back and those kind of stuff. Okay,
acha, 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 acha.
finally I left. So I decided that that's it. But then then the journey starts. Real journey starts.
That is when the
Unless
real
until
journey.
you unless until you really take the plunge,
Uh,
you will not feel it. So day
very
in
true.
day out, you need to keep on thinking. So then the real pleasure and pain comes together.
Moments which have really given you that spark, that okay, this is what I have been waiting for. This is what is the.
See, I mean, frankly speaking, while shooting, when I get a really good shot, because I have a very strong memory, till date, whichever shot I have missed, I've never forgotten. I still remember all the shots that I have missed. I still remember. And not to regret, but I have learned a lot that, okay, because I keep on visualizing in my mind that, okay, this is what I had missed. So,
Mm-hmm.
so your subconscious mind tells you that, look, you have to be careful. You have to act in a particular manner. So that's what I keep on thinking all the time. And when I shoot, when I get a really fantastic shot, it's you really feel that yeah, I've done it. For example, I was shooting this documentary Jewels of Thanecreek for Maharashtra government. So I had visualized that the opening will be a sunrise, and the end will be with a sunset. And I had visualized the sunset and the iconic flamingos in Maharashtra, the flamingos and Thanecreek. They would be there in the sunlight, in the setting rays of the sun. Actually glistens like gold in the mud. The mud flats glisten like gold, setting sun rays. So I had visualized that the shot will be like that. While sun is setting, the flamingos will come in, and then like as if like molten gold or something like this, it will be sparkling like jewels.
Mm.
That's what I had in mind. I was trying, and this kind of very impossible shot was not happening. I just couldn't get it. So day in, day out, and kind of no, I was thinking perhaps I'll never get it. So finally, the day before last, I was just sitting there and kind of having taken a coffee mug and all that. Like I said, let's just relax today and have coffee. Suddenly, I saw the sun is setting as a big sun. I said, "Oh wow, the clear, no clouds and all that." I said, "Wow, it's glowing." Flamingos were at a distance. I said, "Okay." Then three flamingos flew and landed here. I said, eh? Three flamingos landed just the place I wanted near me. Then another three. I said, I can't believe it. Then they were walking. I said, no, is it happening? Really happening? I'm still, there's only more flamingos came. I said, oh my God, this is what I was waiting for. And finally, that gave me a lot of pleasure because the way you had visualized it, and when you are able to do it, that gives a real pleasure. The kind of happiness that you get there, I mean, not even $1 million you get. I
Correct,
mean,
correct.
you won't get those kind of happiness. That
Very true.
yes, something which I had dreamt, I got it. So because as an artist, ultimately, end of the day, all you want is to create something which touches people, which is really good, and people appreciate it. And when you see that your vision is becoming a reality, then you realize that yes, I have dreamt. Like I don't know. I'm a man, so I don't know how it is like giving birth to a child. But then this is like a child. I mean, it's really these kind of moments. Whenever you get this kind of shots, whenever you realize that whatever you had aimed for has come true,
Come true.
that gives that real kick. Then you realize,
Absolutely.
yes, this
All
is
everything
what
is worth
I
it.
wanted.
Everything makes
Everything
it.
is
Yeah,
worth it and all kinds of
everything.
things. Otherwise, been a lot of pains, uh, tick bites and leech bites, and then like suddenly a lot of huge infections treated in Apollo Madras, and all kinds of things has happened. So, but that's life.
So, which
That's
are the
okay. That
wildlife
passes
areas
on.
that really, I mean, enchant you? Like you mentioned, this Thanecreek. Any other that really?
No, no, in India, frankly speaking, I am discovering India after leaving my job and getting into this. I'm driving myself, sleeping in small towns, and looking at all kinds of wildlife. Every part of our country is so beautiful. Whether you go to Himalayas,
Mhm.
whether you go to Western Ghats, even the deep deserts in Western India, or in Eastern India, the swamps like mangrove forests or whatever. Everything has got their own beauty, own different species. It's every experience is so enchanting. It's so different. I was shooting 2013. I was shooting in Kedarnath Wildlife Sanctuary. This is during the floods,
Himalayas.
Himalayas.
Huh.
Okay, Himalayan that Uttarakhand floods.
Okay.
So it was raining. Then I was in. I had gone to Tunganath. Then I was shooting, and I was interviewing some shepherds and all these things. So shooting and all that. Rain and fog and all that, but some beautiful visuals I got. Then packed and all that. Then first landslides started there. First landslides. And so I was driving, I saw first landslide. I was wondering, what do I do? I had a four-wheel drive then, vehicle Safari, Tata Safari. I was thinking, you need a helicopter. You can't drive a four-wheel drive in this. I was just wondering. The first landslide cleared. Something within me told me that, look, this is dangerous. I came back to Rudraprayag, and next day it was sunny. So I did some more shooting in Rudraprayag and in a nearby village and all that. Next day again it started raining. I decided that's it. Left. So left for Delhi. I
Mhm.
reached Delhi. Within 3 days, everything got wiped out. So thankfully, thank God, I've been I've been lucky in the sense I decided not to stay for a
Correct.
longer period
Correct.
of time. So this happens. So then you realize there is somebody protecting
Somebody
you,
was protecting. Absolutely.
protecting you.
For some,
So,
for someone who has given up a very, very good career in
yeah.
corporate and then taken a plunge into this, any piece of, I wouldn't call it advice, somebody who is looking at such an option, who is exploring such an option.
See, lot of people are asking me the same question. Um, and people who are at 40s, people who are even youngsters, 25, 26, or all that, different people. Some people are looking at because of a midlife crisis kind of thing, like getting stuck in a project manager role and nothing much is happening. They have their monies, they have their flats and all that, nothing more to achieve. So now they're thinking, what next? I have my penthouse, and then I have every day I'm having my shaman, but next what? So that is one class. Second class group of people are thinking, how do I get a glamorous thing? This is not glamorous. This is something, whatever is your passion, just pursue it.
Yes.
Even if somebody is scribbling something and kind of drawing or something like that, even that guy makes money. So it's not about money. If you excel in some whatever you like to do, then there is no end, because now if I keep on, if I can keep on shooting something till the time I'm not happy with it, I will keep on shooting because I want to do it. If I would have been just simply chasing money, then I will decide it's a kind of business decision. Within 2 days or within 3 days, I have to complete this, or within a month, I have to complete it, then get the edit, voiceover, color corrections, post processing, all that have to be done and all then release. So then, because then you kind of think in those lines. No, all I have to say is don't take this as a very transactional thing or okay, let me also tick mark or do it. Keep on doing something. Ultimately, end of the day, everybody is earning money. But then the inner peace and joy that you get from doing something which you like to do, that's way more than anything else. Remember, I've seen people earning a lot of money and investing in properties and all that, and suddenly come and tell me that their kids don't care. They don't care. Somebody will go to US, somebody will go somewhere. Then the guy realized all these days I've been doing this. But why? What did I do for my own soul? That question should not haunt you. Do whatever you want to do. Do it for your own soul. I mean, because at the end of the day, I mean, we are born alone, we'll die alone in that sense. Okay, because ultimately, are we doing something to nourish our own soul? That's most important. That's like the clothes we wear and other things.
Correct,
So
correct.
whatever gives you happiness, pursue it. You never know for how long you are going to live, for 100 years or next day might be the last day. Doesn't matter. But as you know, Aristotle said that a person who dies sad means the entire life is wasted. He was talking about King Priam and like the the Troy, Battle of Troy and Hellenic Wars and all that. The King Priam was the king of Troy. He said his last life he saw his son
And
Hector
Hector
killed by
died.
Achilles.
Yeah.
Then all this kind of devastation
Yes.
that was happening. Then he died a sad man. So he says, when you die a sad man, that means your entire life is gone. So that's what I'm saying. Whatever you did in your entire life, whatever number of tandoori chickens you ate, or
How you die matters. It is the finishing that matters.
finishing matters. So, so,
Exactly. Exactly.
so what are you doing for your own soul? Are you happy? Are you going to die a happy man? So that's most important.
So,
Yeah,
do you also
it
do
is.
some other kind
It
of,
is.
you follow any other?
I do meditation because that's what I was briefly telling. I didn't want to talk about it, but when all this kind of things happened, my hard disk, a lot of footage lost. 1.5 months worth of footage shooting in with this kind of leopards and all that lost. So I went into depression because suddenly you feel lazy, you don't want to do anything. You just are sitting around and kind of very, very difficult. So then I did a lot of meditation myself, like just self. I've been doing from childhood on, off and on, but then I did meditation. So that's what I can pull myself off from kind of all of us have all of us have God within us, and all of us has a demon within us. So it is very important to feed the God within us. That's what I believe. That's
Very
what, yeah,
good.
do a lot of meditation as well.
To make the career shift. Anyone who is starting off in or her career and who is looking at such an option, what to look out for, or would you advise?
Number one, people actually people get misguided because they see the a film 3 Idiots, and they see that easy way out. I become an
Madhavan,
intern with somebody. I become an intern with somebody. But with the kind of plunging, margins, it is very, very difficult, especially in wildlife and all. It's very, very difficult unless until you are going to a big production house and something like that. So what I'm saying is, keep on trying, keep on doing in your own sphere. If you just have a small phone, just shoot with it. Try to learn the nuances. You don't need to buy a cinema camera or a big top end DSLR and kind of use it to learn. Keep on learning with anything. Okay, so keep on learning, keep on, because this is a journey. You know, people talk about overnight success. I don't know about overnight. There are many nights you have to spend.
There are
Okay, how many nights you can't predict.
yeah.
So somebody says 10,000 hours, somebody says whatever. That's it. And keep on doing, keep on learning. Only when you are good, then somehow, and keep on, these days social media, keep on putting it. Somebody will see from somewhere.
Exactly.
I don't know. People find it from my website. So when your time comes, you should be ready by that time. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Don't be a shooting star. Keep on practicing and keep on, make yourself ready. The moment somebody approaches you for something, you should be able to do the best job that that guy gets pleased and all the clients get pleased with. So then that should be the door is open. Don't imagine that if you are not ready, then the door opens partially and gets banged into your face. Don't do that. Just keep on trying. There is no shortcut. And during treks, I've realized that shortcut is actually longer. So don't take shortcuts. In a mountain, you can't. Just shortcut is like, plunging into that. That's
a good one. What next?
What big plans? 2020. Every time we think of 2020, 2010, 2020 has gone for a toss. You just need to survive and reinvent yourself. That's what. Meditate and try to figure out what is the best part you can become. That's it. So I'm just trying to also work on certain things. Hopefully things come out and then I can talk about it later.
Good.
Okay,
amazing. Nice catching up. And I'd really love to, if it is possible, I'd love to join you on one of your trips.
Why not? Okay.
Why not? Good.
Yeah.
Doing great work. I really like the philosophy of how you're going about it. I think I look forward to some great stuff from you. All the best.
Same here. Thank you.
Thanks
a lot.
Thank you.